and welcome to a new week for our daily word. It is this Monday in October, and we're halfway through the month of October. It's hard to believe, but as always, I'm grateful that you would choose to join me for our time together and our ongoing conversation through Scripture and how it works in us and through us and shapes us and all of those things that are important for us. So I'm grateful when you say good morning and offer greetings as you watch together with us. So this morning, this Monday morning, is Daily Word number 798 as we approach almost 800 in a couple of days. And so this long journey that we've been on continues. And so I've chosen for this morning this interesting scripture from Deuteronomy chapter 34. If you've been in worship and you've shared our conversations, you've heard me reference this many times because it's a fascinating story to me. And Cindy read from the book of Exodus yesterday, the ongoing journey of the people of Israel and how they got, as I talked about yesterday, they kind of were going in circles and they got bored, they got frustrated, they got angry, they melted down their jewelry, they made a golden calf. Moses convinced God to relent from destruction. Moses had this amazing life and shared with God who God was and is the person in the world, in life, in Scripture, who encountered God in mighty ways. And so we hear this morning, chapter 34, verses 1 through 12, and this is the death of Moses. Then Moses went up from the plains of Moab to Mount Nebo to the top of Pisgah, which is opposite Jericho, and the Lord showed him the whole land, Gilead as far as Dan, and Naphtali, the land of Ephraim and Manasseh, and the land of Judah as far as the western sea, the Negeb and the plain that is the valley of Jericho, the city of palm trees as far as Zoar. The Lord said to him, "This is the land which I swore to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, saying, I will give it to your descendants. I have let you see it with your own eyes, but you shall not cross over there." Then Moses, the servant of the Lord, died there in the land of Moab at the Lord's command. He buried him in a valley in the land of Moab, opposite Beth Peor, but no one knows his burial place to this day. Moses was 120 years old when he died. His sight was unimpaired, and his vigor had not abated. The Israelites wept for Moses in the plains of Moab 30 days. Then the period of mourning for Moses was ended. Joshua, son of Nun, was full of spirit and wisdom because Moses had laid his hands on him. The Israelites obeyed him, doing as the Lord commanded Moses. Never since has there risen a prophet in Israel like Moses, whom the Lord knew face to face. He was unequaled for all the signs and wonders that the Lord sent him to perform in the land of Egypt, against Pharaoh and all his servants and his entire land, and for all the mighty deeds and all the terrifying displays of power that Moses performed in the sight of Israel. So a couple of things just capture me in this story, and I think should capture us. First, that it's God who leads Moses and shows Moses all of these things, as we heard as it starts. And Moses died, and God buried Moses there. His eyesight was unimpeded. He had vigor. He was 120. This amazing connection that Moses had with God. And then this last paragraph, this reminder of who Moses is and was. The scripture says, never before has there been a prophet in Israel like Moses, who God knew face to face. Interestingly enough, he was unequaled. He did all these mighty deeds and terrifying displays of power in the sight of all the people. Now think about the story of Moses and all the things that happened. And I almost wonder, how is it that, maybe not his eyesight, but how is it that all the challenge of Moses, this 40-year journey, and the people disobeying and grumbling and being angry, and Moses talking God out of destruction, that his vigor had not abated. And that although he didn't get to go to the promised land, God showed him everything. And I think about this scripture in light of how we live our lives. We yearn to accomplish a lot. We yearn to see God face to face. We love all the things around us. And it's a reminder for me, for us, that God is with us in our journey, has brought us to the place we are today and the place we'll be tomorrow. But it's a reminder to me that God is with us, and that is the basis for our faith. And faith, that unseen thing, the subtle things in life, where God lives in us and helps us to live by faith. And all the challenges we face, all the difficulties, it's God who's with us, God who sustains us, helps us to have the vigor that we need to accomplish all the things around us. I find myself often at times tired and despairing and wondering, worrying about the future and all of these things. And sometimes that has a tendency to drag us down, right? It doesn't let us see what it is that we need to see. And then I read this text, this reminder of who God is, and that God knew Moses face to face. And I believe that God knows me and God knows you face to face, and gives us what we need, and shows us all around, and calls us to live by faith. And I hope that that's where we find ourselves on this Monday morning. That we would live by faith, that we would trust that God knows us face to face, and that our journey, as far as we can see it, it's God who goes with us and shows us the way. We are the ones that God, not just us, but God shows us along life's journey. We receive what we're promised, and God continues with us on our journey. And sometimes, we see it from afar, but we know God's present with us. So that's our word for today. That's what strikes me on this Monday morning in the middle of October. So thanks for joining me for our time together. I appreciate it. So I pray you'll know of God's love that surrounds you, know of my love for you, and I will see you tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. Have a great day.